I wouldn't post that shit everywhere.
Party in the house. Good morning, I mean good night, Azeroth. Here we are. Is anybody watching?
I'm find out real quick. We just went live on Twitter. Sorry. I'm looking for your stream. It's showing up on YouTube.
Yes, we're here. We're here, baby girls. What the
Okay, give me a
frick?
moment
That is
here.
not the
Start
title that I
making
put.
posts.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just edited it real quick, man.
Yeah, it's so lame. Number 4. Anybody in here? Hello, hello. I should get some music going in just 1 second. The changes are being saved. Hello, Connor and Holtzy. How y'all doing? Let me get that music going.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
1 moment to get that music going for you.
That's sexy tunes.
Get some of that going. Some of that Elwyn Forest, baby. Well, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, lots of things, good things, bad things, kind of mediocre things, extra medium things, some spicy, some cool.
Cool ranch,
To kick things off, let's go over here to the the blue tracker, and we're just gonna have this in the background here because everybody, you know, you've seen it, but it doesn't matter. We're just gonna have it up here. So I mean, I'm kind of actually excited that it's launching at 6 p.m., but at the same time, I'm kind of like not.
So, the official release date?
Yeah.
I think the official release date being on a Monday is going to be a little...
Is it Monday? No, it's Tuesday, I thought.
It's a Monday because we get it on the 26th, while the rest of the world gets it on the 27th.
Oh, we're getting it the 26th. Okay.
Yes.
All right, yeah, okay, sorry. Oof. Let me go,
You good, Bo. You
let me
good.
go make sure that day's requested off, too. Hello?
Good to see you, Holtzy, Connor Kinney, Vic Toys, Sane 235.
Hey,
Gentlemen, welcome.
Hey, Zug Zug.
Zug, baby. I got Sane
Zug,
on the
Zug.
Twitch. I got
I just wanna
Merv
know-
probably in there.
Everybody watching right now, have y'all watched more Classic WoW content today, more streams today than you have in the last 100 days, dude? I feel like I've been glued to the screen ever since I woke up.
Man, I wanted to. I really wanted to, but I was so busy all day. Like, I have been going nonstop. I literally just sat down right before we started this.
Yeah, dude, lots of crazy stuff going on today. A lot of the people that went to that meeting over in Irvine a couple weeks ago, dude, they had some really good insight. If you've watched their videos, Stay Safe S-Fon tips, the main ones at least, they've had some really good input. More in-depth things, actually video proof of concepts that were explained in these blue posts today. So we're going to talk about a little bit of those things as we go further.
To go over. Like, holy poop. Okay.
Yeah.
There's too much.
Oh my god, hold on a second.
Yeah, let's see.
Girl, oh my god. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Never.
Oh god. Okay. So, the biggest things to take away from this, and I don't care what anyone says, like they're like, whether you hate layering, whether you you love it, same goes for sharding, dynamic respawns, like, people shouldn't be getting all upset about this because moral of the story, bottom line is that we got a release date. We've been waiting for it forever. We finally have something we can look forward to. But I think that since layering is probably the biggest topic and the most controversial thing right now, we should probably just start peeling back the layers of that. So, first, from what my understanding is, and the way that I've seen that they were talking about it in the interviews and explaining it, was that S-Fand, I think, was described it as filling a glass of water. And it was like you fill up one glass, and then, you know, the players of the water, they fill it up, topples over, next glass fills, and then you continue to do that. Each glass is its own layer within the server. That is infinitely better than sharding. I don't care what anybody says. Sharding,
Yeah, I get you.
Sharding will put you against many, many different realms. You won't have the same, like, integrity of your server. I get it. Yeah, it's not perfect. But you have to you have to face the reality that the game is going to lose its popularity as it progresses. People are going to quit. If you make servers that hold X amount of people, no matter what, that number that it can hold will not maintain the max population. Maybe there's some specific circumstances that would differ, like if it was a big streamer server or something, then maybe it would hold the population. But no matter what, the population of servers is going to decline. Essentially, what this is doing is taking multiple servers, putting them on one, sharing the same name pool and everything, and then instead of having to go through and merge a bunch of servers together towards the end, you just already have them merged. So yeah, it's not perfect, but like, still, this is only a small portion of the game. A couple months even. Then, after that, it's normal classic WoW. Bogged down server and everything. So...
Yeah, and one thing I want to talk about on layering, and it's been driven to the ground at this point, you know, everybody's been talking about it, it's a hot topic, and one thing people, they don't really highlight in this post, specifically whenever we're talking about layering, is how Blizzard, the development team, is approaching layering. It's an addition, it's a fix to phasing, or sharding, not phasing. And so I just want to point out that the team in their layering blue post, they said, if you dislike layering, worry not. Layering will only be used for a couple of weeks or maybe a month at the start of Classic WoW in order to balance the huge influx of players in the same zones. And nobody has really highlighted, like, the feel of the Classic development team. They don't want this, they don't want to put out something that isn't going to be Blizz-like, or vanilla-like. They are really trying to recreate something that makes the player base happy. They don't want this to turn into retail, you know. Everybody just points out the bad, which they should, because we don't want this to be, you know, you give them a little, then they take a mile or whatever you want to call it. But it really feels like they're trying to put something in that is essential, and just the dialect, the way they typed it out. I really feel like they have the player base's best interest, and nobody's really highlighted that. So that's more the takeaway I take away from the whole layering issue today.
Pogren?
Any thoughts?
I had a lot on this actually at first. I was a little confused, a little scared. But before I get into this, I want to thank Vomp and the Verve. They just gave me 2 more subs. The guys are amazing.
Nice.
Thank you so much. At first, I was like, why are we getting anything like this at all? Layering isn't going to go well. Nor do I want to stay positive, and I want to say, Vomp, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I want Blizzard to stay on their guns here and say that, yes, they will not progress layering beyond the first stage. I think Blizzard knows enough of us as content creators, enough of the community, that they know that Blizzard does not want, not Blizzard, but that the community does not want to have sharding for long. They understand they only need this for the launch. The question is then, what are we left with afterwards? Because if we have 3 sets of 3,000, that equals a population of 9 grand on a server. That's huge. That's Nestarius almost. Like, Nestarius was 10 grand, right? Was that how many people could be on it?
It was 12 at peak, I think. The highest they ever let it up to.
I can see a lot of negatives that can come from it at that point. Now, the other big thing to take away from this is going to be people accessing this from all over the world. It's going to be very small, but we get a server size. The server size is going to be super, super big.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on real quick. We got somebody in here. Sermonican. Hey, buddy. According to Tips Out, Ian told him straight up it's only in Phase 1, and he could be quoted on that. I've heard that a lot. And that's another thing I'm going off of, too, to kind of counteract Vomp, is the fact that Ian has said this. I hope to God we can hold him to it. But there was also another comment that was made earlier. Ian also said we'd only have sharding for the starting zones. Now we have the entire world phased, in a way. So it's a compromise. I think us as content creators and us as players need to kind of understand that we can't get perfect, because they want to make sure this is as smooth and as marketable as possible. They are a business after all, and everything they do is for a reason. And it's almost likely to make as much money and retain players.
Real quick to interject right there, on the sharding being only during the or beginning or starting zones or whatever. I remember that too, but I feel like I almost think it was like, I don't remember who said it, because I remember somebody brought it up in Cargos' stream earlier, and nobody could remember who actually said it. So it may have been speculated, unless you know if it. But either way, regardless of whether they said that was that at that point in time or not, like, okay, sharding is only for the starting zones. That was sharding. We're talking about layering now. So it's 2 different things. So it's not like they're going back on their word. It's just that they found a better alternative to sharding. I mean, like,
Sure.
I completely don't understand like why people are actually even upset about it, because again, like I said, it's only for a little bit of time. But continue with what you were going.
So as I was talking about it, I gotta get. Oh no, it says Goodnight. Hold on, I gotta change my Twitch over real quick. Hold on.
You good?
So as no, it's updated. Okay, so continuing on my thought, just taking it on the chin. The big thing is what we need to do. We need to understand that we need to take this blow. We need to keep moving forward, and we need to keep letting Blizzard know what we feel and think. Especially if you get into the beta, give them all of the feedback you physically can. If you can only play 1 hour a night of that beta, you play that hour as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm.
I want as much information as we can to get to Blizzard, but with layering
and like actively be looking for things to improve on.
Exactly.
Not just zoned out playing through.
Exactly. Now, my big thing too is the one thing I want to touch on is the fact that we're not getting a true version of layering of sharding. Layering allows you to actually see up to 3,000 players in front of you at one time. I think that's not a bad thing, because 3,000 players is a server cap. Like, that's if we all were on the same guild, and the fact that they even stated this in one of the interviews that they're going to try to get all of the guilds that are together on their own specific, like, hey, if you're in this guild and half your guildies are in layer 1 but the other half are in this one, they'll put your entire guild on one layer. Mm-hmm. So that way you can all meet up at one spot. If you're grouping with people, it's a better version of sharding. It's almost something I would like to see them implement in current day WoW, because that's a big thing. That's a big problem I have with current day WoW. Is I hate watching people just phase in and out and not actually be able to interact with the players of the damn game.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm willing to let it go. I'm willing to just see how this play out. Let's just see how the servers handle during the stress tests. Maybe they realize after an hour or so into it that it's just hot garbage, and they'll listen to us, just like the logout timer for the classic WoW demo they did. Just that logout timer went away really quick, a lot faster. Let's just hope this is as smooth as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
sure. Yeah, and let's just kind of pivot a little bit. I want to hear everybody's general consensus on the news today. Like, how did you feel after the news today? And I'm not going to cry, and I'm not going to moan in front of you guys, but I want to give you a perspective, kind of
moan for me, baby,
where I'm coming from as a content creator and just with my experience with the game. And so, like, whenever I first heard the news today, I was stoked to get the release date. I think everybody can agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
We all wanted a release date. Now everybody can figure out paid time off, your future plans, what you're going to do. I mean, it's real now. You know, we can actually, we have a countdown. It's like 100 days up to this point. So I was stoked about that. And, you know, coming up to this, everybody knew a beta was probably going to be coming out, and whether it was going to be an open or closed beta, and if it was going to be streamable or not. And my perfect world, you know, this is a selfish thing, I would have wanted a closed beta, and I wouldn't have wanted it to be streamable for a few reasons. I haven't played on private servers in the recent past, and Classic WoW coming back is going to be it's literally a dream come true for me, and I know that that's the reality for a lot of you guys. And I wanted it to be a closed beta that couldn't be streamable, because on launch day, I wanted to log in. I haven't seen the game in years. I haven't seen the old world, and you know, you can log on private servers and whatnot, but you don't really have that feel of what it's going to feel like to be in a beta surrounded by all the other players, by a living, growing community. You know, you weren't going to be exposed to that before launch day, and like I literally was going to have tears running down my face at just how glorious that launch day experience is going to be. Now, with an open, closed beta that can be streamable, we're going to be watching Classic WoW. Like, Classic WoW launches tomorrow, basically. Like, in my eyes. I mean, people are going to be watching Classic WoW content for the next 3 months. Mm-hmm. They haven't stated how long they're going to allow this to be a streamable beta. They may cut it short and then do the stress test days. We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not jumping to conclusions, but at the start of the day, you know, initially I just was rushed with fear of just like, oh my gosh, my experiences, and again, this is selfish reasons, but my launch day experience is going to be ruined. And now, like, I don't want to play the beta. I truly don't, because I want to preserve myself. I want to preserve the experience. But now, because everyone else is doing it, I have to do it. It's kind of like if the Blizz token were to be put into the game. I wouldn't want to spend money on it. I probably wouldn't, just because that's a scummy thing to do. But it's one of those things, you know, because someone else is doing it, everyone else has to do it. And so that's just kind of my thought on it up to this point. Obviously, if I were to get a beta token tomorrow, Would I be disappointed? Not at all. I'd be more than elated. It's different than what I expected. And so I don't know how I feel about today. I know everybody, and that's coming from a content creator's perspective, because, and hear me out, guys, and I'm not gonna bore you guys with it, but like, man, if everybody else is making content on a Classic WoW beta and I can't make content, it just sucks for me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you don't get into it, then like, meh. Like, this is my thing about it. If I do get into it, great. I'm gonna play it. It's not gonna impact my opinion on when the game actually launches, because again, for me, it's more about the like official kind of thing. Because like, I could be playing on a private server right now, and it still wouldn't really like mess with me mentally in terms of playing Classic, because the way I approach the private server or whatnot is still thinking to myself like, okay, that's just temporary, it's not real, it's not official, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's like a friends with benefits kind of thing with Classic WoW. But no,
it's okay, baby. I'll rub your back if you rub my my back.
Yeah.
But Atticus, think about all the people that haven't. They don't watch private servers. They don't watch people stream private servers nowadays because.
Oh, I know. Like, as a whole, I think it's definitely not going to do much in terms. Like, this is what I said earlier. Is like, I wish that the closed beta was not allowed to be streamed, because I don't think that streaming it is going to be productive for the kind of hype that's around it. But it could be productive for getting more people to play. But at the same time, it could have negative impacts, because, like we saw with the demo, some girl who had some following, who was probably like 21 or something, and probably didn't even play back during the beginning, maybe not even that old, but she plays it, and she's just, this is bad, like, where's my pet? I don't know what's going on, and, like, doesn't know how to play it, and now all of those people, because we're influenceable individuals, that's how humans are, and the people that we look up to, so to speak, influence our opinions heavily. Like, no one's opinion is their own. Their opinion is influenced by everyone else's. Like, it's just you gather information from other people and formulate it into your own. So if you're watching someone who is negatively talking about something, that's going to impact you if you have no experience with it. So the people that they put in the game, I think that for the closed beta, it should be selective. If they're going to put people in the closed beta that, like, have no idea what they're doing, then how's that going to be productive? Like, if they put people in there who have only played BFA, why would that help? That's just going to be like, yo, where's my looking for raid? Where's my looking for group? Like, stupid stuff. So, like...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I have...
yeah, and I
sorry, I want to... You're good, man. I want to just...
Okay, go ahead, Poker.
Sorry, I don't know who he wanted us to go. I mean, I want to just put my opinion in this argument real quick. First off, yes, say never let the hype go away, because the only time this ever gets de-hyped is if we stop being hyped.
Sure.
But also, just because, somebody like, let's say, Dr. Disrespect or Sally Two Cheeks, I don't know, just putting a name out there. I don't even know if that's a real streamer or not. But let's just say somebody who'd never played the game before plays the beta, and they stream that beta, and they may have only played BFA. If they have people in their audience who know the game and like the game, they better listen to them. If they stop playing it after like 5 seconds because that's not their game, so be it. They're the ones that put in the time to try to get it. They'll get called out as somebody who doesn't understand how the game works, and that's a dirty underbelly portion of Classic WoW. There's that group. There's a group of hardcore fanatics that will call anybody out if they don't know their stuff. And
hey, what's up, Classic Wins?
That would definitely bite people in the butt if they decided to try to stream the game and they are not, competent enough. But I also would say on the other side of that coin, it could be really good, because there's, like I said, there's a lot of resident sleepers out there. There's a whole bunch of resident sleepers that have no idea the game's even coming out. They have no idea these posts happened today. I had to inform 6 people at my job who are into Classic WoW that the release came, because they had no idea by like 1 p.m.
That's ridiculous.
So, go ahead, Grace. I'm sorry to interrupt you, buddy.
Oh, no. No, and yeah, what's up, Classic Wins, dude? Good to see you in here. He said they mentioned for beta invite for older accounts. And yeah, I noticed that, and dude, I got screwed because I ended up throwing away my old account whenever I quit near the end of Wrath, and then me and my brother started new accounts, I think at the end of Wrath, beginning of Cataclysm. So yeah, I'm a little sad on that little tidbit, but we'll see. And that's the thing, dude. Nobody knows how quickly these beta keys are going to get put out. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the next few days. So I go find it. I know I need to, dude.
I mean, like, what if they just like got a bunch of streamers, like like Blizzard got a bunch of streamers to go start streaming, and they like purportedly had us all in a room, and they just break a Q stick and go, tryouts. Good luck.
God, I would. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to kill you.
Gonna have to, sorry about this, Grace, for days. Just.
No, I know. Well, so I don't want to be negative, Nancy. What are some of the negative?
Hype indeed, my friend. Sorry.
What are some of the negative side effects you could see this?
Let's do this. Let's do
Let's not talk negative. Let's just talk positive, man. There's been too many people just butthurt all day.
One sec,
Like,
Grace. Turn your outbound down just a tiny bit so you can, like, 'cause I'm hearing myself echo through your stuff. But
I was also hearing myself type, but I didn't know if that was Grace or not.
That's fine. Okay, so no, let's do this right here. Let's compare pros versus cons.
Okay.
Layering to sharding. What is the upside of having layering versus having sharding? In my opinion, the upside is that you're not going to be getting bounced around between different servers. Like, you're not going to have see people from different servers on yours. I think that's huge. Cons.
I could say a con would be well, actually this would go into a positive. Never mind, it wouldn't be a con because my first thing was like multiple. Still a con. Layering, sharding, causing a income imbalance.
Yes. Real quick, Turbo Zenith says, "What's the difference between sharding and layering, or is it the same?" So the difference, real quick, for anybody who's just joining us, sharding is you can just kind of be randomly phased. It doesn't. It's dictated by group. It's dictated by zone, and dictated by, I think, like, I don't know, like, I don't think there's anything else that might dictate it, but basically by group and by zone. It seems like very random. Like on retail, when I would be playing and I'd get sharded and bounced around, I'd be in the middle of killing something sometimes, and it would just be like, bonk, you're in a different place now, out of nowhere. Yep. Maybe because like the shard I was in filled up, or somebody invited someone to a group and that filled it up, so it just booted out a random person, and I happened to be that person. So that's bad. But then with layering, you are locked into a layer until you are invited to a different group.
Yeah.
So
I also got something with Sarmonican real quick. He just pointed out a really good one. Layering Pro, likely only 2 to 3 layers per server. So instead of 100 shards of Black Lotus, you only have 2 to 3, for instance. You will only end up with at most 2 or 3 of those normal items that you normally would be able to get to. So it's not as big of an economic, pounding, but it's still a really, it's a good way of looking at it. Thank you, Sarmonican.
Let me touch on that in just a second. The other thing that's different about layering is that layering is only on your server. It does not extend to other servers. It is specifically the server you are on. There are different layers to it. Think about it like a server is like a cake, and it's like a 10-layer cake, and you are a knife, and you can start in one layer and you can stop right there, or if that layer fills up, you can continue to push down into the next one, or if you get invited to a group, you go down into the third one or back up to the first one. Just different points of the cake or whatever. But to touch on what you were saying, what was it he said again? That it was say that again, Harmonics?
So basically, Sarmonican, what he was talking about on the Twitch side of things, by the way, for people who are tuning in and don't understand, we are live on my Twitch and we are live on Atticus's YouTube. But Sarmonican said leveling Pro, likely only 2 or 3 layers per server. So instead of 100 shards of Black Lotus, for example, you only end up with at most 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Times normal, basically.
So, yeah, the layers, I saw something, someone said that it was confirmed. They said that there was going to be, the layer size was going to be 3,000. And I do not think that if they were going to have layers the size of 3K.
The layer is 3,000. It's been confirmed. That was during one of the interviews. They specifically stated that it will be.
And I'm pretty sure someone said that there's going to be quite a few layers. So I don't think it's going to be 3. I think it's going to be a lot more. I think those servers are going to be pretty big.
Yeah, the server's going to be pretty big, but they've already stated that there will be 3 instances of 3,000 per server.
Well, then that's fine. That's like not shit. Like,
but people are afraid of it because they don't want any of that happening because the amount. Like, I know Def Camp, Melderon, and Cargos, their big things were people taking advantage of the system to get themselves a ton of money right off the bat. Now, it can happen at a smaller amount of rate, but it can still happen. But even still, it won't pop over to, like, let's say you get on a server and there's only 6,000 people. Or not 6,000. Let's say 4,000 people. It won't take 1,000 people and put them in their own area. You'd have to reach 1,500 to actually take them to put them in the next layer of the cake, if you will, or the onion. I like the onion because it's never ogre until it's ogre.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean the whole layering issue.
What about a parfait? Sorry.
Oh yeah, well the whole layering issue. It's obviously a new system that everybody's unsure about. I think the one thing that I'm getting out of it, we may not know all the exact details, but I think the biggest reason they're putting it in is to avoid queue times. That's what I pulled from it. Like,
but
sharding doesn't avoid queue times on a server, right? It just
sharding would avoid queue times. Layering will not do anything to queue times. It can't do anything to queue times because all those people are still contained in one server. Think about it. Because it's all on one server. So say that you've got 9k people, 9k pop, you've filled up all 3 of those layers. There would be a queue time. Like it doesn't matter what layer they're in. There's still only 9k people allowed on that server.
Well, you don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't understand how it works. And I guess if that's truly how it works, then, I mean, I don't know. I could see like 15,000 on a server, and just if they had queue times for just those individual layers. I don't know how it works. I thought, but that's one reason why I would see they would put layering in over sharding. That I don't know. I'm just not sure.
I got another thing from Sarmonican here. He also says, remember, it's only for phase 1. So it's only for that first phase, which is the first, maybe about 10% of Classic WoW's life, which is what he's stating here. So after the first small portion of gameplay, we don't have to worry about it. So I think layering is getting blown out. I do think layering is being blown out of proportion because I got I got my feathers super ruffled when I saw that there was going to be layering. And now the more and more I've thought about it, this is where I've come from. Even my brother had to talk me down a little bit. He's like, just be really rational about it. Think about it. It's only for the first phase, all this other stuff. So I know there's a fear that Blizzard will just take it and run with it, but you never know. Like, I think we just need to relax, let it be happen. Sarmonican with the 5,000 bits, buddy. Thank you so much. You honor me, my friend. But just, I think it's just something we need to sit back and just chew the cud for a moment. Let's relax. Let's let the week go through. Let's see what other developments come out, because the moment there was issues with layering, there was a blue post stating it was only going to last the first phase. Blizzard heard us loud enough. So, those blue posts have been I know a lot of people don't really necessarily understand if Blizzard's watching, but I think they are. Like, Blizzard could be watching us right now. Sure. And I'd be okay with that because they'd be hearing people who care about the game.
Hi, Blizzard. Welcome to the 10-person stream.
Well, we're the B side.
We're the B side.
We're the B side. We're the cool side of the Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, I just don't see, I don't know, man, it just doesn't seem like it's a downside. There's just, it's not classic, but, dude, it's 2019, it's 15 years later, how are you going to be upset that they're doing things to make it more, what's the word, not approachable, but more, accessible. They're making it more accessible to the masses. You guys act like you don't want them to make money. They need to make it so that they can maximize the money that they get. We're not going to have a game at all if they don't make money. Sure. It has to be successful. They're trying to make it successful. They're not putting 2 years worth of work into recreating this game and thinking, you know what, let's just throw a curveball from left field, throwing shit against the wall, hopefully it sticks, and you know what, 2 years down the drain. No, they're doing the best possible thing they can. And, believe it or not, dude, they're smarter than us. Sorry, they work at Blizzard, they make this game, they know what's going to be best for the technical side of things, where all we've been doing and all that anybody's been doing in this community is fucking kicking their feet and screaming like an infant, no changes, shut the fuck up. It's better when they do it the way they need to do it.
And I know there are a lot of people out there who'd probably be like, yo, dude, that's not always true, but at the same time, they're listening to us, they know what they need to do to make it work. You're absolutely correct in that regard. Vomp does bring up one point about the phasing. They said something about the AQ gate event, and he said they will have to work it out by then. They'll have to figure out what they're going to do by the time the AQ event happens, because that's a big thing for me. I want an AQ event where the servers crash. I don't care what people think.
I mean, that'd be fun, but, again, that brings it back to, what's better from a business standpoint of view. But at the same time, having the AQ event, say that we lose 50% of the players because of newness. Like say that it is a 9K pop server, and then we end up with 4.5K, and that's where it settles on each server. Then the AQ event starts. People are like, well, people are going to come back, and it's going to be populated again. It's not going to reach 9K again. It's just not going to happen. Just no freaking way are we going to get 4,500 more people just because AQ started up.
Exactly. I mean, you might get a large increase, but not that deep of an increase that you'd have to do it on every server.
Yeah.
I know. Also, we have Sermonican saying that he's going to be layering is basically going to be better than sharding, so he's okay with it. That's kind of how I feel with it at this point. Vomp brings up a good point. Just buy the Blizzard stock before launch. Actually, what's Blizzard stock at? I actually was following Blizzard stock when it was getting really low there. So the dark days after BlizzCon, they dropped from 80 some odd dollars, if not more. They're $44 right now a stock. $44 a share. They also have their dividend returns is about 1%, which isn't that great, but at the same time, a percentage is still a percentage, man. You can make a lot of money off of that. I'd say if I had the money to drop, I would. So.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, dude. I had a class.
Shares of it, Sermonican?
Yeah, dude. I had a class last semester where we had to buy and sell shares on this emulated server. Stock sharing thing, and I went ahead and put like half my money in Activision Blizzard whenever it was $81, and then that happened. So yeah, you probably got a pretty good bet at putting some money in the stock.
Like I've been looking at even EA stock. Like EA is a company that's going through a lot of changes right now. They're back up to $94, but if we look at like over the last 2 months, last month they're trending all the way down. They went from 97 to 90. Year to date, they're at a dip, but if you look at the last 5 years, these guys are cheaper than like back in 2018, they were $144 a share. Now they're down to $90. Like, you just wait for it. Like, this stuff's all going to start going back up. The entire gaming industry took a hit. Right now is not a bad idea. It might not be a bad idea to get into it. So, we can get off the stocks, though. We can get back into the game here.
Yeah, and we can talk about some other subjects that haven't really been touched on today, but it's relevant to all this news. And Baron of Hell and Twitch, he pointed out, I'd argue about two things: AV nerfed version, and as of today, no epic old mounts. These things have to do a full 180 degrees ASAP.
He's talking about the unarmored ones.
The 1.4.
Tips out. I thought he stated in one of his videos that the classic armored mounts will be there for the first.
He stated that, and then the blue post stated specifically that it will not be in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
that's a little silly. I feel like why not put it in? I mean, I don't see a problem with.
I don't see a problem either, but like, it's not something that I'm even gonna like care about. I would never use it. I would literally just have it, just to have it. Like, I think they look ugly. I'm not gonna have them just to like ride around and be like, look at me, I was here at the launch like the 50 million other people. Woohoo.
I mean, you still gotta hit 60 and get enough gold within the first phase to get it. So I mean, it's still an achievement. And Baron of Hell, the guy that pointed it out, he just made a Reddit post, and I pointed it out before our stream, and he was advocating for the fact that he advocated for the fact that we should have 1.4 mounts in the game because of the fact that it's a status symbol. And how many status symbols are in the game? There's very few. You don't have achievements in game. Why would you take away like one of 3 events? What do you have? Like rank 14, that's a huge status symbol. You've got a rank, and you can flex that. The AQ40 mount, that's a one-time event in a Classic WoW's lifetime. You can flex on that. Those are two kind of things, two kind of experiences that you have. Why would you take out the old 1.4 mount?
Well, I think what they said was that it was like, what was it? Freaking, they took it. They're not putting it in because they don't want people to rush to 60. They want people to enjoy the leveling process. Right. And Belwa says status symbol equals armor. Yeah, that's true, dude. I mean, like, because you can't just get it's not. There's no welfare epics. Like, you got to work for everything in Classic. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I completely agree that, like, it is a status symbol thing, but, like, it's a freaking mount. Like, it doesn't help your character at all. It doesn't do anything other than just show you hit 60 quick and you farmed a bunch of gold. And, I mean, like, that's on a completely different level than having, rare gear from a raid or having rank 14. Like, that's, I don't know. I just wouldn't. I'm not going to stress about it. Like, I don't care. But
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's important to a lot of people, and it, and the fact that they said that they're not going to put it in because they don't want to dictate how people are going to play. That's a big conflict of reason that everybody's come to in the classic WoW community. Whenever they say, "Oh, you should play this way, you should play that way," everybody's like, "Hey, don't tell me how to play. Let me play the game the way I want to."
Yeah.
And so it triggered a lot of people in that sense. I'm sure, and I don't know. Everybody's been hyped about the 1.4 mounts and. And just the fact that they prefer them, like the Ivory Raptor. I know everybody prefers that over a lot of the other mounts. I don't know. I just think there's still room. There's still 3 months to figure some of these things out. I think those mounts are a big enough topic to talk about. I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong.
We also have saying here is bringing out a good point. Something I would want to touch on eventually, just to let you guys know, is the mana regeneration, health regeneration, and experience being about my 30% slower thing has been proven at this point.
I think that they said it was 50% slower. Is
50,
what it was.
Even worse then. That's even more nuts.
But 30% was the XP gains. So I think
30% was the XP
gains.
Yeah.
Which, again, that changes my plans, dude. I was gonna just zoom, not do any dungeons, and just because I had the questing like pretty much mapped out completely. But like, it's not like I'm not even upset about it because like I wanted to do the dungeons. It just wasn't applicable, or it just wasn't like a good enough reason to do it. Like I was just like, I'd rather just level faster and just go through questing and not have to worry about other people. But now that it's going to be slower, might as well do some of those things because I'm definitely going to need the extra XP, get to play with my friends more. I'm not going to like slow down on the poop sock train. Like I'm still going to be going like as hard as I can go, but I'm just not going to be like stressing about it. Like if I've got to take time to like get up and go eat or something, or it's whatever, I'm going to go do that because I'm not trying to be world first anymore.
This poop stock has no brakes.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be world first anymore just for the fact that like I don't know. I'm not gonna have the everything mapped out, and that was like a huge part of why I was like confident in my ability to do that. And Belwa, I'm maining a warrior. Belwa, I am nothing but a warrior. Always keep them out for warriors.
I'll tell you this, guys. This was probably the thing that excited me the most today was that news. The fact that the mana regeneration was so off from private servers. And then I heard tips, a couple other resources, a couple other videos, whether it was the interviews with Stay Safe or their playthroughs, of how different these classic demos, these classic beta servers were than private servers. Like to the point that it was adding 30-40 minutes to your 1 to 10 leveling speed, 1 to 20 leveling time, and the fact that there's abilities on private servers on certain mobs. Tips pointed this out in one of his videos. The Fire Rocks and Tenaris on private servers, they didn't have this Fireball ability spitting out, and so you could farm them, you could AOE farm them. And now the fact that their ability is working as it was originally intended, you can't use that as a farming spot anymore, just because you just get nuked down by it. So there's so many unexplored things in Classic WoW that we're not even aware of, that we think we've experienced on private servers, but it's completely different. The leveling times, the leveling routes, and if I've been focusing on dungeons, I've seen all the abilities on the mobs, on the NPCs, and they don't work as they're intended, whenever we tested on the private servers. And I'm stoked to actually see. I think it's gonna feel like a completely different game. It really is. And when was the last time we felt how hard vanilla WoW was? Truly. I think private servers are gonna had it wrong for a long time.
That's another reason why I've been kind of like looking at this with, I guess, more of an open mind and thinking like, if they don't get everything perfectly right, that's okay, because if it's the private servers weren't right, and 90% of the knowledge that everyone bases everything off of nowadays is the private servers, and private servers weren't right. So as long as the game is correct,
not fully at least,
correct in essence and with a similar level of difficulty, like as long as it's like that, and I'm still getting the same cool armor, I can still do the same things, like ultimately, like rank 14, the dungeons, get all the gear and everything, and as long as obviously like abilities all function the same like they did in Classic, then I'm good with whatever little intricate things they've got to change to make it closer to what they originally wanted the game to be, or to make it more applicable to today's society. But I mean, I'm like the one that everybody wants to castrate here for, being on Blizzard's side with making things better for the world.
I wouldn't say castrate, but I know there's a lot of people who are there. Like it's a this is something I can experience that even in my workplace is there's changes that come. People are unhappy with it, but it takes you a moment just to kind of realize what those changes are, what comes from them, why they're being made, why the reasoning behind it. Because your first reaction is like, "Ah, change, why?" But then it's like, wait, everything's okay, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Take a moment, listen, breathe, and you're fine. Um, I mean, I'm going to agree with Sarmonican here. I really would like to see how different it feels. I know private servers, they worked with what they had. Now, like a lot of some of the gearing stuff isn't wrong, but when it comes to like armor values, HP regeneration, mana regeneration, certain ways in which things work, they had to work it backwards. They had to backwards engineer everything. You had an experience on a private server. I actually did like some of the private servers that were out there. They let me kind of come back to it all, but I had that moment of,
This isn't real.
this isn't real. This isn't what I really want. D Dark Dragon says he loves you. By the way, Atticus.
Oh, hi, thanks, dude.
It's
up, Phage?
it's just what's up, his name is Phage.
Phage.
Phage. I want there to be just calmer heads to prevail right now. I think a lot of people just need to like.
Let's do this.
Just take a second.
Let's take it like this. All right, forget sharding, forget layering, forget dynamic respawns. I'm gonna ask you questions. If you are faced with the problems that Blizzard is faced with now, knowing that there's going to be a huge influx, at least in the beginning phase, what is your solution to fixing that? What would you do to make the servers more accessible, to allow for no crashes, to allow everyone to play and have the fun experience? What would you do?
I couldn't tell you because I don't know how any of it works. My initial gut reaction is to invest as much money as I possibly can into servers. But then if you think about Blizzard, they probably have already done that.
Mm-hmm.
They are a multi-million-dollar company that's located in basically Silicon Valley. If they don't have the best servers in the world, I'd really be worried. I'd really be worried about what they're doing. But I think they also understand. Oh yeah, you have to understand how. Oh, there's a miss right there, by the way, because somebody was asking if anybody's seen this Paladin miss. I just saw a miss. I would want to. I would want to upgrade all the servers if they are not already upgraded. I would want to. I actually can't even think of a good way of doing this because the only reasonable way is to implement something close to sharding, but isn't. Layering is pretty damn close. I would say almost good. I mean, it's decent, but it could be good, and that's just my opinion right now. I still have to mull on it. I still have to chew the cud to really find out what I want to do. Grays, what are your thoughts?
Well, the argument a lot of people have had in the past, and I think it's dying down, but should they strive to not have queue times at all? A true vanilla experience is going to have crashes and it's going to have queue times, and you're just okay with that. You expect that. It's a launch of the biggest game in history, one of the most anticipated MMORPGs of all time. If there aren't hiccups, I'd almost be disappointed, and if there are, I don't mind, right? Yeah, it was anticipated.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, to strive for that perfect launch. Obviously, that's the best outcome that they probably would want, but I don't know. I don't think they'd be at fault if they had some hiccups during launch, and I don't think anyone would fault them for that. I don't know.
To touch on what Phage is saying real quick when I asked that question, he says, Illidan USA, Illidan USB, Illidan USC, etc., and then combine after X months, but not able to shard layer between those servers until then. And then, so that's basically just having 3 total separate servers is what Belwa said. He says it is, but with the added info of knowing where you're going to go later. But see, Phage, that's exactly what they're doing with the layering. It's just that you can go between the two, because what is the upside to doing that versus having layering? Because layering, the upside I see, which is a small one, but still, it's pretty crucial to me because I like having my name. The layering upside is that you will have that name locked in. If you've got, like, if I could make a character on Illidan A, name it Atticus, do the same thing for all the other ones. They could all be different characters, and then whenever they all merge together, some of those names are going to get flagged for change, some of them are not, or one of them's not. That's going to mess with a lot of people. Like, that would kill it for me. I'd just be like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I had this name, like, I should know, etc., etc. But, like, that's what they're doing, though, because they're essentially just making all those things doing it just like that, except they're just all hosting them on one server, and they're giving you the option to actually play with your friends. So again, I don't see a problem with layering. I just don't. It's gonna influx the economy towards the end, because there's definitely going to be multiple layers, and those resources are going to go from there's 3 copies of that resource in the world, if there's 3 layers, to there's 1 copy of that resource in the world. But someone brought it up earlier when I was on Cargos' stream. Yeah, there's going to be 3 times the demand for it whenever it first starts, but then if servers die down like we think they will, then it will go down to 1 times the demand for it. So it might not have impacts on the economy. But yeah.
Yeah, the layering issues, it's just such a... It just got introduced to us today, and I don't know, I think a lot of people, we're just freaking out about it, and we don't have enough knowledge on it. And like you guys have stated, I think it's just more the waiting game, just play it out. Today was a huge day in terms of news, and my emotions have been up and down the entire day because of all the blue posts and all the new things that we're figuring out about the game, and access that we're going to have to the beta and whatnot, so...
And Phage, based on what we know right now, he says the big problem is people disappearing and reappearing in front of you, which will turn people off. There's like, that is an issue, and it's not, because the way that they've presented it to us is that you're going to be locked into a layer unless you join a group, which means that you're going to be able to completely dictate who appears and disappears in front of you. So, like, if you're, I'm about to join this group of my friend who's not in the same layer as me, and I'm in the middle of this pack that could respawn if I join that layer, then just wait, go do that later, and wait till like you're in a clear spot and then join. But if it's like someone next to you that's questing, they're obviously in the same layer as you, so it wouldn't transport you between the two, so there would be no reappearing, disappearing thing. But yeah, again, like what Belwa says, like, yeah, I don't care if there's like 3 times as much copper, but towards the end, yeah, it could be something big with, like, Black Lotus or the influx in thorium, or what is it, arcane crystals or something like that. Like, that could potentially be an issue. But again, if there's 3 times the demand, then the economy would virtually stay the same, kind of, sort of. Pogren, you're specifically quiet over there. What's going on, dude? Typing to somebody?
Typing to somebody. Sorry. Like, I think I've hammered the nail home enough for my opinion on this. I'm not too worried about it anymore.
Well, then let's move on to the beta. We've spent 47 minutes talking about layering.
So let's move on to the beta then.
Let's move on to the beta.
I don't know if we can run with this or not, but how do you think the introduction of this Classic WoW beta is going to affect the community, the watch time? It's going to affect maybe content that's going to be created in the next 4 or 5 months, compared to if we didn't have a beta at all. I don't know if we could run with that. I don't know. Maybe not.
You say, like, what? Ask that again? I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say more.
Well, just with the Classic WoW beta being introduced, how is it going to affect? How much different is it going to be? Are we going to see in terms of content that would be created with or without it?
I think that the only thing that's really going to be dictated is potentially leveling guides with certain quests, like including them, because if the experience is confirmed to be 30% slower, people will start to change the way that they view things. But ultimately, I don't see it changing too much, other than people just literally putting out videos of this is what I did on the beta, or like things like that.
Won't be different, but new.
Maybe changing, like, speed run videos or whatever of people doing starting zones. Maybe show us some things that we completely had no idea were there in certain dungeons or something, or loot table differences. But I don't think it's going to be anything. I don't think that it's going to honestly impact too much. I think the only influx in content that we're going to see between now and even the end of Classic is just the specific things, the little intricate things that end up being different. And I mean, I'm fine with that because I like content the way it is right now. I love the content everybody puts out for Classic WoW right now.
I think what they're going to do is I know the word smooth has been placed around a lot. I think people, I don't know if there's be enough people who are going to be like, can we rough it up a bit? Can we get the wand animation, for instance, sorry, I almost said Cargos. For Def Camp, I know his big gripe is a wand animation. Like that, like it's the big stones have been moved at this point. It's all these small stones, and I think those are the only small things that we're gonna get rid of. There's gonna be a lot of polishing of what's out there. I think a lot of times what they're gonna be looking at is they're gonna want to make sure that people are truly getting the right values. Truly making sure quests are functioning properly, making sure that there are no random mobs that weren't supposed to be there. So
yeah, no, I agree.
Personally, what I'm curious about is the launch of this, the ramifications it's going to have on content creators, and what comes out of the next couple of months. Because I know for a fact, hopefully, I should say, I should hope that tomorrow, come beta release launch, people getting their keys, if we don't see major streamers pulling in stupid numbers, like top of the Twitch charts, like I want to see World of Warcraft on top because of what's going on with the beta. Necessarily will that happen? I don't know, because we don't know how many people are getting chosen. But
by the way, if any of us do get stream keys, or not stream keys, freaking beta keys tomorrow or within the next few days or whatever, everybody watching, please, 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 for the love of God, get on, watch us, even if you just leave us playing in the background or something, because that is going to be huge for the growth of our channels. The more people watching, the more people will watch, and it's going to keep us creating stuff for you guys.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens with the content, and from a content creator's perspective, it's funny, in the last 4 or 5 months, people have gotten really creative just as of recently, because we can't display private server footage for the most part with the UI and stuff. You can't, say this is how it is, this is how the numbers are, and even the leveling. It's like the 1 to 20. Everybody knew that the numbers and the values and health and mana regeneration was probably a little off, so nobody really put in these definitive guides. But everybody's been like thirsting for this content, like just putting out stupid videos. What have I done recently? I don't know, just the direction of the content that's going to come out. Now we're actually going to have some legit content, which it's going to be fresh. It's going to be new,
like solid in stone stuff that we can actually
smooth.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm stoked about. And that's why I'm so nervous about wanting to get into this beta, because I want to be in the same realm as everybody else that's making solid content. I don't want to be making freaking content based off of private server values,
Yeah.
So I'm anxious. I'm anxious about the coming days.
Yeah.
We'll see.
As far as beta goes, like,
Oh, and by the way, I was writing a poem to one of Nixium's posts. I don't normally do that. I'm sorry. I just the muse got me for a moment, and I wrote a small poem for something he posted. I got distracted. I'm just gonna let you guys know that's what happened.
yeah, it's all good.
Do you mind sharing the poem?
Oh, sure. So Nixium posted on his Facebook something about being in the woods being something he always goes back to for his thoughts, and I said, the trees, always growing, always knowing, almighty arms reach into the sky, arms that comfort, arms that shelter, arms that create a home for my thoughts, a home for my dreams, a home for my soul.
Did you just write that?
Yeah, I literally just came up that up top of my head. I used to do a lot of creative writing, so I love doing that kind of stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, I hope that doesn't give away who I am, because somebody's going to go to Nixium's post and be like, "Who's Pogren? I found him now. I'm going to hunt him down." You're like, "I'm sorry. Don't hate me." I don't have anything on my Facebook, so you won't be able to find one. So good luck, bub.
That's awesome.
Sorry. Now, content creators coming out tomorrow. I would love to see Def Camp get I'm going to give you guys like my top 10 content creators outside of Tips, S-Fan, and Stay Safe. Obviously, they're going to get them. I would love to see myself get one, but that's just because I'm a greedy little guy. But outside of that, I'd love to see Def Camp. I'd love to see Cargos get invited to this beta to actually get it. I would love to see. Let's see what else is out there. Ale. I know you don't. I don't know if you stream Ale, but I'd love to see you get it. I'd love to see like Taladrill from ClassicWow.live. Let me look here real quick. Twitter. What did out? Did we just get posted on Twitter properly? Ale, that didn't work. Unfortunately, this page does not exist. I got sent a Twitter link from Ale.
See, I want like completely like kind of selfish as well. Like I want a beta key, like not even so much for streaming it, boosting my channel, etc., like that. It's not even so much that, but like if they do really actually listen to people on like how they're with the feedback they give. Like I know because I've tested games before for like small companies and whatnot, and I give extremely good feedback because I go and look for tiny things, and I just look at tiny things and be like, okay, this little tiny thing right here was a problem. You know, like I'll find like something that's like, okay, the pathing when I tried to jump over this pole or something, or like a fence like we're seeing at Elwyn Forest here or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I would be able to
Pathing
see,
is big for me. I'd love to see what happens with pathing.
yeah, like if he were to go jump over one of these fences right now, I could tell you exactly where he needs to jump to make it over it because I've done it so many times. And that's like something I would go test just to find out, because that in itself could lead to many other different things that is unlocked by noticing that. You know what I'm saying? From their point of view. But like I wouldn't look at it as just like I need to go test all the things and play the game like it's gonna be. I would look at it literally as just test this stuff to find bugs, to find incorrect values, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that I could benefit from having that. So if there's anybody out there who can petition Blizzard and be like, hey, give it to that guy, do it, please.
The one thing I would actually ask, out of the three of us right now, let's make a little bit of a pact if we can. I would like to know if you guys, any of you guys, get it. And then I have a list of questions and things I'd like answered, if you could do it for me.
Of course.
Like just in case I can't get in. We also did get tweeted out by ClassicWell.live this time around too, by the way. So for those who follow them on Twitter, thank you for showing up if you did show up. If not, guys, we're gonna have that coming for us as well.
Did we post in the Discords?
I posted all the normal Discords I'm in.
Cool.
So like we got ClassicWell.live, we got Def Camp, we got Home. I got a couple other ones too.
Gotcha.
There's a Shaman one I posted in as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got posted everywhere, like normal. The announcements went out. But yeah, thank you guys everyone for showing up. By the way, you guys are like the backbone of doing this. You guys are the reason we're wanting to do this. We want to help make some extra content for you guys. For the late shift people, if you get me, those who can't watch during the day, we're always here at night for you guys.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a selfish concern whenever I think about beta keys. Because I don't think there's going to be a shortage of people who are going to find and test bugs and figure things out. I think it's already been proven that there's the community there for that. All the experienced players, man, a lot of people in the ClassicWell.live team, like Taladrill, Ale, a couple people that have been there since day one. Navik, these guys that could really point these things out, dude. I want them to be able to get beta keys, but I don't think there's going to be a shortage of the amount of people that get in there, especially if they give out beta keys as first wave. In terms of people's age on their account. But one thing I'm a little concerned about is it's going to be more than just testing. I mean, there's going to be an exclusive set of people who are going to be playing the game. And they're going to be able, like, if I were to get in, and with the little following that I'd have, I'd say, hey, dude, we're doing this community event today. We're racing 1 to 10, 1 to 20, or we're racing from point A to point B. Just things like that. And I know that sounds silly.
That would be awesome. No, right? That would be awesome. That's community stuff. That's friend stuff.
Yeah.
See, but is that not everyone can be a part of that? And I know I'm not trying to be all inclusive or snappy about it, but like, dude, it's gonna be an exclusive game. I know it's not official, but like, dude, everybody's been thirsting for this freaking game. It's gonna make a few people salty that didn't get invited to the beta, and they're seeing all their friends play it.
It's gonna rustle some
right
Jimmys for sure.
So I mean, it's a whole ordeal. I don't think there's any way to do it, but that's just another thing I'm thinking about. Like, dude, they're not just playing the beta; they're getting a lot of entertainment out of it. I think everybody's dying to get into this game, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, again, I want to circle back to like impacts that this can have. Like, let's go pro con beta impacts.
Beta. The one thing I would say pro is getting feedback out. That's an obvious pro. I also have somebody in here saying that cross-realm BGs will break PvP, ruin ranking and community. Let's rank me for a moment. We'll put that off to the side. I just want to make sure you know that we're addressing that.
Yeah. Let's talk about that here in a minute, because I definitely want to say some things about that.
And then, Ale brought up a cool point that I think would be another pro if it happens with the beta. Is hoping that each player who gets in they can invite friends.
That would be cool. Maybe
that
just,
would be
just
cool.
like one or something. Like, because if they
just
do
one
if
extra
they go
person
crazy,
or suggestion.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all. So all right, pros to beta. We can have a smoother launch. It's going to promote a smoother launch. It's going to promote better gameplay because it's just going to have more information for them to gather. It might ruin some of the luster or some of the nostalgia for people on their first login, but I mean, that may be a sacrifice that some people need to make. I'd be happy to make that sacrifice, like, because I personally don't think that it's going to mess with my nostalgia for logging in. I don't think that I'm going to be like, oh, I can't do that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna freaking cry regardless whenever I'm logging in. Like, tune into my stream if you want to see a grown ass man cry. Like,
Oh my god.
because it's gonna happen. But because again, there's a separation there mentally for me. It's the difference between marrying someone and hooking up with someone. The beta is the hookup. Classic WoW is the marry. So, any other pros that y'all see?
Pros for beta add-ons at launch, basically. That's sane. Bringing that up, it's a really good pro. Sorry, Grace Videos, what you got?
Oh, no. It's just gonna be a pro. I'm thinking more in the cons perspective. Just
Well, what do you think is a pro? We'll talk about cons in a second. What do you think some of the pros are that maybe I didn't touch on?
well, no, the pros are getting everything fine-tuned. Whether it's pathing, mana, health regenerations, getting all the small details correct at launch. I don't know if all these small details, like if it's a really fine-tuned game up to this point, I think sacrificing 3 months of hype, you're gonna have an open beta. You're sacrificing what could be, and this obviously isn't my place to say. It's a marketing move to bring in a ton of other players, but sacrificing these 3 months of hype for all the people that actually called this game into existence and were advocating for this, for those small bugs, just to get it perfect, I don't think it's worth it. Another con, like, I guess that was a pro, but like a con that I see is, and this is only for select few people, so hear me out. These aren't huge issues, but like people that are going for world first, and there's a lot of people out there that have been practicing on private servers, and they're nobody in terms of having connections with getting a beta key over somebody else, and they're actually competing. They're getting ready to go for that server first, world first, whatever, 1 to 60. If they don't get a beta invite, and all these other people that have a beta invite, they're going to be practicing leveling routes from 1 to 30. Just the feel of what an official classic server is going to be compared to a private server is going to be completely different. I can see a big uproar in the very small community being upset about that, at least. Uh-oh, did I lose y'all?
No, I'm here.
No, we're good. I thought my stream just seized up, so
No,
we're still good. We're still good.
It like paused.
But that's one thing I kind of see, and a con for me is just seeing people level 1 to 30, and it's really just my hype thing, because like I've said in the past, I haven't played on private servers, and I know, Atticus, you're saying, like, it's the difference between real and marry, but like I haven't stepped foot into the old world of Azeroth in the last 10 years, for the most part, and that goes for a lot of other people too. The majority of people haven't experienced that, so I don't know if that's a big con for a majority of the players or not having this open beta. I don't know. I'm still torn on this thing, but I don't know.
I'm right there with you, dude. The being torn on this is a little. There's a lot of pros that are obvious. They're obvious. There's a lot of that. We know that we're gonna get a lot of bonus. We're gonna get a lot of benefits, and hopefully what I would like is more blue posts. That's another pro I think I can come out of this is more updates, more the communication lines between us as players and Blizzard are more open now, so more transparency. Hopefully, they don't have to hold back anymore. All the big news has been released. There's the information that we've wanted for a while. Now we actually have. So now it's down to business. Now it's time to, tying it down, get better at what we've been doing. I just think that there aren't any negatives to this. I know a lot of people think that there's going to be, the hype is going to get killed. People are going to be streaming this. People are going to get burnt out. Yeah, only those who get into the beta, though, maybe. Like, even if I get into the beta, I don't think I'll ever be...
Yeah.
Like, I think my hype will never die, because I love this game. I love what we're getting. I love what we're going to be doing. Yeah.
I mean, I played on... I did not play on private servers, but I did. But the thing is, like, I played on how many? I played how many times? I leveled how many times? I still want to play. What's one more time gonna do? It doesn't make it any less of a fun game to play it, because it's all about replayability, like we've talked about before, how it's like one long MOBA, like it's a 2-year long MOBA.
What is hype may never die. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, man, also though, dude, the last year and a half, 2 years, I don't know how long we've been talking about it, dude. I know a lot of people are just exhausted up to this point, and now we still have 3 months to go. I know that's a short time span, but it's also another 100 days. And people are just sick of it, dude. I personally, like, I just want I want the freaking game to come out. I'd rather have seen a shorter beta. Like, are all the good things about a beta gonna outweigh, like we're gonna have a perfect launch experience? I don't know if that outweighs, the hype that you're sacrificing. Having 90 days full of streamable content. Again, I'm kind of speaking out of terms because we don't know what's going to happen up to this point. We don't have enough information. This is just day one, so we just kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, day one, best day. No, I'm kidding. I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead. Rip and pepperoni. Cons of the stream again. Like I just think that my biggest thing is the wrong people getting in the stream, the wrong like people who have influence over people.
See, that's a.
I just don't. Yeah, I just think people are influenceable. Like
I think people are influenceable,
yeah.
But I gotta say this, that like you also can't just assume that we're gonna get some big streamers who aren't gonna care about it, because you got some big streamers out there who probably have played and they have been secretly waiting. Like Swifty is live right now with 867 people. Can you imagine tomorrow when he gets the beta?
Yeah.
Man, that man is going to be out. If he's not surpassing S-Fan and the rest of them, I'll be sad. But, like, I know there's people out there that are going to be good that don't necessarily play the game right now to play the game.
But how many people are going to stick around watching Swifty just so they can watch him make a one-shot macro for the 18,000th time? I'm kidding. Continue.
I don't know. I mean, you're not wrong. But...
No one got the joke. Continue.
They won't. But one thing is, Ale even brings up here, they won't kill the hype with people who are already fans. So, like, our hype is too high. Like, again, what is hype may never die. We don't need to worry about.
Sure.
If he dies,
I don't think that's something we even have to worry
about.
If it bleeds, it dies. Yes, people nowadays are very sheepish, but as long as we keep on keeping on and we show them the error of their ways, I mean, people eventually will be like, you know what? Maybe they do get somebody who plays the game, and that person's really dumb at it. But there's like maybe 5% of their population, their viewership, maybe 15. Go, you know what? I'm actually really curious about this classic WoW. Let me go ahead and type in classic WoW into Twitch real quick, and they see us. They see the people who stream it whenever they can. They have the player base who actually cares about the game. Those are the people that are going to get them to stick around. Because, hey, maybe we have this person who's Joe Schmo who doesn't understand how the game works and is just like, it's total garbage. But they have a percentage of people who go, the game looks pretty hard. That totally looks like something I'd like to play. And they come and switch over. They're going to bring people, no matter what. Negative press is always good press.
Yeah, no, sure. Yeah. Any publicity is good publicity. Except in certain lights. Like when it comes to defecation of character, then you got to be careful with it.
Deprivation.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't think deprivation is the right term. Defecation. So guild plans. That's a big question.
Because my group chat with my friends has been going crazy all day talking about this shit.
Nice.
Because I know I'm going horde. I want to play with Def Camp and Melderon, but there's the question of streamers destroying servers, if you get me, like having too many people who are going to follow them. I think that might only be in the beginning, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be as bad. I would like to have... I've been thinking this over more and more. I'm going to be a social player in Tips Out's guild because I love the man. I helped him out when he was first starting out. He had made a video about, creating his own content and finally just doing it. And I had rewatched it the night before I made my first quiz. And I was like, why didn't I follow this man's advice? Why didn't I follow my own advice months ago? And I finally did it. And I'm going to be a social player in his guild. I want to be a social player in Invictus and Victa. But I think I might just get my own guild. So I'll have these two tunes I'll play around with on the side whenever I can play with friends. Layering is streamer proof? No, I don't know if layering is streamer proof. So I want to say yes, layering is streamer proof. Because it allows you not to have to worry about it.
You have to worry about it as much, for sure. Like,
they don't have to worry about it as much. And server sizes are going to be 9,000. So that means even after that happens... So this is, again, it depends on how many servers they release. This is really what all this comes down. If they release like 40 servers, all 9,000, I won't worry about it. So, if they finish... Even if they do a little... I'm starting to convince myself not to worry about playing on that. I mean, I think I might just go and end up just playing on their server and playing with them.
Speaking on that,
But I have a conversation tonight with some friends. I want to make sure that they're okay with this. I want to see what their input is. I want to hear their thoughts. So go ahead.
To keep the name of the server that the whole classic WoW.live community decides on as a secret, because until after the character creation thing. Once the character creation thing is, it's fine, because once we've got our names locked in, basically, because people are going to be trolling us trying to steal our names and whatnot. And there's only 3 slots that you get, but how many people have 3 names they want to choose from? There's definitely going to be some trolls out there who are like, well, I got my one name, now let me go see if I can steal the streamer name that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's messed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it is. Like, I'm gonna literally, like, if my names get taken, I'm gonna be like blowing Blizzard's phone up, like, look, I don't care what you have to say. No.
Real quick, I want to know what y'all's top 3 names are. Is it just a reiteration of your original name, or would you
be
even
open about it right now?
We ain't talking about that, because mine ain't my YouTube name. It ain't my YouTube name. So
okay, well, obviously mine is my YouTube name. So I'm already screwed. It's just I have a buddy at work. He's like, I'm gonna find out what server you play on, and I'm gonna go ahead and make Pogren just to mess with you. And I'm like, okay, man, good luck. But I'm like, aren't you doing that on Alliance side? He's like, yeah, that's why it's gonna even sting more. And I'm like, don't do that to me, bro. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. But obviously there's that. I'm probably gonna do Panda Odu, which is my character name I've had since I played vanilla.
Nice.
And after that, I have a few other names, but I have to pick from my toolbook.
Yeah, in Thermophile, he put my names are Thermophile, Held Under, and Guild Bank, which is awesome.
Guild Bank, I like that.
I love the Guild Bank name. I want to know anybody else that's watching right now.
Atticus 1, Atticus 2.
Yeah, if you have any specific names that you want to hold, Biscuits. Because I know, especially like those Guild Banks, they were you could have creative names. Me personally, I'm gonna have Grace for Days spelled the way it is. I'll have a bunch of different iterations of it. I guess people could troll me on that, but there's a few cool ways you can mix around the words. But the 3 reservations I'm gonna do is my main name, and then I think I'm gonna do like, I had the second one. I'm gonna do like Chuck Norris and one other one, Leroy Jenkins. If I can preserve those, just because I want to have like some clickbait titles, or just I don't know, just the way I can highlight some videos with those names. So those are my 3 names at least. I didn't know if anybody else is gonna try and preserve the creative like that.
Nice to meet you.
We're gonna end up having to cut the stream short here. I've got people blowing me up about something, but not right this second. I'm just letting you know in like probably about 15-20 more minutes, which ain't
okay,
fine.
Cool.
But but real quick, let's go back to who was it said something about cross realm PvP.
So that would be Thermal Plug, Phil.
So cross realm PvP. This is the thing. Yes, it's not ideal, but it has pros. The pros: you are not dictated about when you can PvP or how much you can PvP based upon your server. Cross-realm BGs, because that's all it is, cross-realm BGs, not world PvP. If you have a populated server, you're going to be fine to do world PvP. But with cross-realm BGs, like, it's just going to make your PvP experience more fluid. Like, yeah, you'll still see the same people, because it's still going to be, like, battle groups, I'm assuming, or even, might not even need them, because how many servers are we going to have, you know? Like, yeah, you'll see more people, but, oh well, like, get over it. Like, just do your freaking BGs and get your honor. Like, if you really want to make a name for yourself, then go be that dude who sits at the bottom of a flight path somewhere in, like, Stranglethorn or wherever and just annihilate people. Go be the rogue that stealths around and ganks people. Go wait outside of Stratholme to kill groups that come in. Like, you don't have to be the king ding-a-ling of Battlegrounds to make a name for yourself. But yeah. Any thoughts, guys?
So I kind of agree with him originally, because my big thing cross realm is the experience I had when I first started playing the game. I was watching my buddy play the game, and he was like, yeah, you see that Frost Mage over there? He's the best Frost Mage on the server. You see that warrior over there? Dude can do anything in PvP. And you got to know these players, and you got the PvP next to him. And the opponents know who they were. Like, he knew several Alliance players. If you saw 4 of them all grouped up in the same BG, it was GG. You just quit.
Yeah.
Not quit. You basically understood that you're about to get, beat up. You're about to lose your match horribly because you're going to get outplayed.
Yeah.
Yes, that aspect goes away. But if they do something small, like battle groups even, maybe, I think there's a way in which they can work around it. I don't think it's a perfect fit. I don't think PvP deserves that, especially if we're getting 9,000 pop servers. I think we should have enough people to PvP. So I would
figured it
say
out
cross
well.
realm. I still think cross realm should be gone. I still am firmly in that field where I think cross realm PvP should just be a thing of the past, or in this
Sure.
case, a thing of the current day iteration that shouldn't go to classic. But it was technically in classic. There are a lot of benefits to it.
Right.
I would rather have a more cohesive
Yeah.
server pride PvP.
I would
So,
like
go ahead.
to grind. Like, okay, this is where it actually starts to kind of change the meta for getting rank 14, because one of the things that dictated getting rank 14 was how much honor you had to grind. You had people that would rotate it in and out by, oh, we all push as hard as we can, and then we're all around for all the same kills, except, okay, we're getting close to the end, everybody else back off, let him get more. Rotate some people out, you stop PvPing, you keep PvPing. And then, you know, you would queue up for Battlegrounds, you'd have to wait sometimes 5, 10, 15 minutes or whatever, and you'd do it in places where you could go World PvP, so you would be like, alright, well, I'm going to be able to go do this. People knew that, so they would go fight in between the queue times and whatnot, and you knew that you were going to be fighting people between queue times because you knew that people were over there queuing up while you're over here queuing up. Now, when it comes to Cross Realm, if you're getting instant queues every single time, the person who gets rank 14 is actually the person who stays alive the most and kills the most people in those battlegrounds. So now it actually adds a layer of skill to getting rank 14, as opposed to just being present for all the stuff. Because if everyone has the same capability to get kills, then it now is dictated by who actually gets them, not by who is just present.
Sure. Yeah. Rachid Kamalichi, he said when PvP queues were long, it did force people to attack major cities, etc. That would be ruined. Also, it would ruin your reputation on the server to be known as the best. But it is good, so you will. Yeah, and it's an interesting point you bring out, like queue times and the effect that it actually has, because how long were queue times back in the day? 45 minutes sometimes, if you were playing.
I have no idea, but I know they weren't instant.
Sure. But I remember doing a ton of things while I was waiting in queue. Yeah, so that would be lost if it was the nostalgia factor. But I thought that the Cross-Realm Battlegrounds, really the reason it was implemented, I thought, was because OG Haptics brought up the whole the abuse that you can have with ranking up just on one server to one server. And so I thought that was the main reason why they implemented Cross-Realm Battlegrounds. I know a lot of people are upset about the identity that you're going to lose with not seeing the same people as often. But I thought it was... My impression on this fix and this implementation was to avoid the... I don't know the exact term for it, but I know the system that people would abuse in PvP at least. I don't know, that was my impression on the situation.
Speaking of being the very best, got the Pokemon theme song blasting right now.
The very that no one ever was.
2 to 5 minutes during peak hours at Grace for Days for the BGQ time.
Right, that's pretty quick.
But yeah, I mean, they said 15 minutes or so, just depends on the server. Yeah, I mean, but see, that's what I'm saying, like, in that 15 minutes, like, if it was all on your server, then you had to go do the world PvP and whatnot, but, like, if you're getting instant queues, then world PvP no longer becomes the meta for getting rank 14.
No, it doesn't.
It becomes who can actually win the battlegrounds, which...
But...
Right.
Skill.
I just thought of something.
You're right over there,
Poker? Oh, go ahead, Poker.
Yeah, I just thought about something.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people's fears about world PvP dying because of cross-realm. That's a big. BGs in general. There are some that pointed to that being the killer that finally did off with cross to actually world PvP. What if? Don't get me wrong here. What if streaming the game has a profound effect on world PvP? What if it becomes bigger than it ever was before?
No, it definitely will, because there's already going to be stream snipers left and right. Like, that's something I've thought about, because if you're out there world PvPing and, like, you start, like, say that your name is Pogren or whatever.
Boys?
Yeah, we're here. Can you not hear us?
Oh, I might have lost him. We might have gone dead.
Nope, we're here.
Oh,
boy.
We're all here.
Pogren just can't hear us.
Oh.
Hello?
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's my end. It's just something going on with my internet,
right,
probably.
cool,
Don't worry,
cool.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
But yeah, like, say that, like, someone, a big streamer, say Swifty, is sitting there, like, doing, world PvP, and everybody sees him, right? And then they're gonna be like, well, Let's go see what they're doing over there. Let's go see exactly how many people they have. Let's go see exactly where they're hiding in between, wipes and whatnot. And then they just go over there, and everybody knows exactly where he's at. Or if he's like getting ready for a big raid on a city, well, we know we can be watching him, and we see that, and tell everybody to tune in real quick. And then lo and behold, they're already at the gates for him. Like there's going to be all kinds of implications that we haven't even dreamed of because of streaming.
Oh, dude. Well, and that's one thing that we could go on a tangent about. Like, the strategy, the best way to get to rank 14, it's going to be completely different than it ever was in the past. And that goes for everything. The leveling from 1 to 60, all these different strategies. Everybody says this game's theory crafted out, dude. It's not. With the recent news that we have, dude, the possibilities are endless on new ways that we're going to figure out how to get to rank 14 the fastest. And think about cross-round battlegrounds being implemented during the beginning whenever battlegrounds are initially introduced, right? Well, what about the world PvP phase beforehand? It may still be, it may be a new meta to do world PvP with cross-round battlegrounds. I don't know what the implications are going to be. The point is, it's going to be a different system than it ever was in vanilla. So there's going to be new ways to discover the best way to get to rank 14, etc. All these different ways to play the game, and that's just what I think of whenever we're thinking about this topic. There's going to be so many different ways to play the game that we haven't theory crafted out up to this point. And that's why the game's so fresh. That's why it's going to last years on end. I mean, the lifetime of Classic WoW, official Classic WoW, it hasn't even begun yet because of how off some of these values and just core mechanics to the gameplay have been on private servers. I mean, it's just going to blow everybody's minds. And the lifetime of Classic, like the lifetime of the original game was only 2 years long. And so I think we have 5-10 years worth of fleshing things out that we've never seen in the past. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get it closed up here. I've got to run. I'm sorry to cut it short.
No, that's all right. That might be. That's. Dude,
anything
okay,
we need to touch on before we end this?
Not that I specifically want to touch on at all. Basically, we can kind of leave it here. Are we going to be doing one on week?
On which way? What?
Are we going to be doing one of these on Thursday?
Possibly. Well,
yeah,
dude, there's
maybe.
So many things going on the next 2 days.
If there's no big developments in any of the new stuff, I don't see a reason to. But
okay.
I mean, we can. I'm probably gonna do one stream for myself or whatever, or maybe whatever.
I'm streaming tomorrow, obviously, but I don't know about Thursday. That's why I was bringing it up. But I want to thank everyone who showed up. You guys again.
Thank you guys.
Worth it. Thank you so much for the conversation. For those watching me on Twitch, real quick, I'm going to be sending some of you guys over to a buddy of mine who's just starting. I was going over some more of this information. I'm going to be going over more Classic WoW news. If you want to keep tuned, his name's Aldar. He's a great guy from Canada. Just to let you know that I'll be transferring everyone over there. Go ahead, Atticus.
I was saying anything. Go ahead, Grace. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, dude, it's been a hell of a day, and I think everybody's about pooped out as much as I may be.
Emotionally stunted is the better word.
Like, dude, I'm drained, man. So
yeah. I just added another name to the printer I'm gonna be destroying in that video instead of just it's gonna say dynamic response, sharding and layering, and I'm just gonna beat the shit out of it with that.
Yeah, dude, I'm wore out. But but I just want you guys to check out the link that I just put in. One of my good buddies in the Discord, he put a post on Reddit talking about the 1.4 mounts and the status symbol that it has on the game. It's a good read, something you should do before you go to sleep. But that's all I wanted to leave out before I left.
All right, guys. Sign us off, Pogren.
Good night, Azeroth.
Fucking weirdo.